What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon.
I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close.
What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with my friend Kalmago Edwards. How you doing, Kalmago?
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Me too, actually. And the reason why I'm so great is because my very favorite audience member is here. Why is my favorite audience member here? Well, it's because this is a chance encounter where I interview commercial real estate investors. And why do I do that? Part of it's because it's the law. But the other reason is you need to find people in your industry and find out if you have any overlap. Is there an opportunity for us to do business with each other? Not. And I need to find that out before we share any private deals or anything like that. And so does my guest. And the way that I find out if there's any overlap is I pull out the Dan Does Deals commercial roll die, which you can get at dandoesdeals.com. You can print it out. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't even ask for your email address, which is a really bad idea from a marketing perspective. But before we get too excited and go through the die and find out core competencies and all that fun stuff, Kalmago, can you please introduce yourself to the audience real quick?
I'm Kalmago Edwards. You could find me on LinkedIn. Also, phone number is 407-920-7837. You can find my email at capitalbdllc@gmail.com and also website at capitalbdllc.com.
Beautiful.
Just to add,
Awesome.
just to add to that, I am a real estate investor and would like to let everyone know that, hey, I'm here to help you get funding at whatever it is that you're looking for funding for. And I do help find you funding if we're not able to fill that gap for you.
All right, beautiful. And speaking of filling in gaps, the first question I have is a fill in the blank question. So there are many popular investment asset classes, and I think blank is too risky. What do you think is too risky, even though a bunch of people are all over it?
Honestly, I really think that uh, the crypto market is very risky. Yeah, there's some upside to it, but for the most part, it's not being really accepted just yet. So it's very risky and volatile market to invest in. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love it also because it's kind of a commodity, just like gold, in the sense that like
Yes.
one is exactly the same as the other. So there's no
Mhm.
opportunity to force appreciation like you do in commercial
Appreciation.
real estate. It's you just have to deal with
Yes.
what you got. So
Mhm.
next part here that I go through, it's the five distinct motivations that commercial investors have. And the reason I go through that first is because sometimes I interview newbies and they don't know what they're going to be doing in this business, but they do at least know why they're motivated to do it. So I go through those first. The first motivation I've found is preserving your purchasing power. So that's a specific type of person. That's someone who already has some assets and they probably rely on the cash flow that comes from owning those assets to make ends meet. But the problem is when inflation rears its ugly head, like right now, then you need to make extra acquisitions because if you're in this level, you're not in the business of selling assets. You're in the business of owning them and then living off of the cash flow that comes from owning them. So that is a popular motivation for this, but I'm not there right now. My primary motivation is trading time directly for wealth, and that's in contrast to trading it for wages or salary. I've got a background in tech. I own a CRM agency, which is how you take care of your list and email all of them for the different things that you've got going on. And for me personally, it's also for capital raising, private capital raising functionality as well. But if you are trading your time for salary or wage, you are going to be paying income tax from actual wage, and that means you're going to be paying more tax than anybody else, which is why I made this pivot into commercial real estate. I want to multiply the equity that I hold, that form of capital, instead of just getting cash out. So that's what I'm up to. But the most common reason I find people are attracted to real estate in general is they want to take control of their time. They want to quit their W-2 probably, but maybe they want to leave the door open for retirement if they ever choose it. But they definitely want to either retire earlier, or they want to work fewer months per year, or fewer weeks per month, or fewer hours per week, something like that. So that's another common motivation, but it's different from the last two, because these guys want to, call it quits at some point. The next group, they're never going to call it quits, because they're just plain too ambitious. They want to own their entire hometown. They want to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job, because they're all about that generational wealth and building. And that's great, because they're going to work into their 90s. Just like the next group, I like to joke that they want to help save the world, but really this group is defined by, they picked a sector of society, or maybe it's the environment, or maybe it's animals, maybe they want to send people to space. Who knows what it is, but they've realized that if you're going to make a really big impact, that financial side has to be all buttoned up. And so that's why they are picking up these commercial properties, so they can make those big moves and help people in the way that they want to, or the animals, or whatever they said. But of those 5 different motivations, Kalmago, what combination of those describes you best? What sounds most like you? And you're muted.
I help people to get funding. Like I said, I want to make sure that if there is something that we can do to help get that funding for projects, for single family, multifamily, business funding, we look around and we network with other investors, other fund managers to network and just get them funded the best way we can. So we are trying to help as many people as possible to get funding, because a lot of us in the business, in the community, do not know and understand that there is funding out here for us, and how to get it is the best way to learn. And I'm here to help, direct anyone in that direction that they need to go.
Okay, so you're supplying the funding side, and so like as far as long-term aspirations, though, like are you the type of guy who's going to be, hustling into your 90s, or are you looking to, retire around 60 or something, or what are you thinking?
Well, I think of this, when it comes to life, we're beings and we're made to be active. And no matter how we look at it, whether it's working or, working for someone else or working for yourself, you will always be in part of working when it comes to life. So there's always some type of activity that is needed in order to, keep good health, keep your mind clear, and constantly learning is what we are here for, and in investing more in our education, you know. So, like I said, I'm here for the long term, and the long term is to continue to invest in my wisdom, knowledge, and help others get what they need. So, I want to retire at about 60, 65,
Mm-hmm.
but also be able to supply that time to anyone that needs it, and educating themselves and moving forward.
All right, I love it. I love it. So let's move on to the core competencies here. And Calmago's side of a commercial deal is really, really straightforward, but I'm going to go through all of them, because I always go through the dandoesdeals.com 6 different core competencies. It's actually for you rather than for my guest. The idea is, if you print this out, then you can learn these 6 different roles so you can explain them effectively, which is going to be pivotal to your own commercial real estate career. You have to be able to communicate about this stuff effectively. So I'm going to go through all 6 anyway. So first of all, the first type of real estate player, and a lot of people, they find themselves in this position even though they have something else on the go. So this is a pretty good catch-all, is the repositioner. The repositioner is doing acquisitions, so they're looking at a bunch of different properties, and they're not just taking care of one on its own, and they're doing a bunch of paperwork. And what are they doing with all that paperwork? Well, the first thing is, because they're in acquisitions, they're talking to people who are selling their buildings. So they have to find out, is this seller telling the truth? Is this property actually making the amount of money that they say it is? That's the first thing they need to find out. That's underwriting. The second thing, though, is they need to figure out how to reposition the property. In other words, change it so that it makes more than it is right now. So the repositioner has 3 different tools in its tool belt to make that happen. One of them is through guys like Kalmago, which is talking to the financiers. That's what Kalmago is. People who are financiers, they deal with paper and money, and that's it. They're not actually going to be on the GP team taking down the deals. But the repositioner might be able to find more advantageous lending than the current seller, and so they get some margin off of that, some upside that way, but that's a more unusual situation. But instead, the first step that they'll do is they'll look at the operations and see if they can get those a little bit more efficient. They want to make sure that those Benjamins stop going down the toilet there. And but of course, there's more to operations than just unclogging toilets and collecting rent and mowing lawns and taking out the trash, all that sort of fun stuff. And one of the things that I do as far as an operational contribution is marketing and CRM related things. So with the marketing, that is to keep the vacancy rate low, which is very, very important for the building. But it doesn't matter if you have the automation stuff that I have or the marketing, the vacancy rate really, really low. Great operations can only get you so far. Often it's not enough. So they'll often get a contractor team to fix the place up. They call it sometimes a value add. Sometimes they call it renovations. But that's the idea, is if you make the place actually nicer, then people will pay more in rent and they'll be cool with that. And that is upside. But one issue you might run into as a repositioner, if you're like me and you're from the internet, is you're going to need a local. You're going to need boots on the ground, somebody who can be there in an hour or two. And that's not going to be me, because me just dealing with the airports are going to take me an hour or two. So you need the local as an accountability person, keeping an eye on those operators, keeping an eye on the construction. Must have hit that wrong, but anyway, the contractor team, keeping an eye on all of them, making sure that they're doing their jobs. And they seem like the owners. And most people don't think of financiers as sometimes being owners, but the financiers are sometimes. There's some restrictions about that, so you have to be careful. But when the repositioner has that property and turns around to the financier and says, hey, this property is like $10 million. Do you have to have like 10 million or like 8 million or something that you want to lend me to buy this property? Well, the financier is going to be like, okay, so that's repositioning. There's the operations. Okay, there's boots on the ground. There's a contractor. But hold on. What about your sponsor? What about your KP? Okay, and some coaching programs, they kind of gloss over that one. But what's that all about? Well, to be eligible for a commercial loan, you're going to have somebody in the fold who already owns a similar asset. So let me say that again. It doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. I got to find some women billionaires to use as examples, but it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. If you want a loan to help you buy a 350 unit apartment complex, then somebody is going to have to be the KP who already owns a 350 unit apartment complex or somewhere around there, or else you're not going to be eligible for the loan. There are a couple other things you need. One is you need a certain amount of liquidity. The other one is, between the GP team, you have to have a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all those pieces, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So Kalmago, you're a financier. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm just here to help in any way I can. If you are, we have gap funding also. That way, it's 10,000 to 400K. No upfront costs out of pocket. That's a good way to get, funding for your real estate deals or for your business to upgrade your business to move forward in that. So, like I said, man, we're in the financing business to help you all move forward and grow your assets.
Great. And it's not necessarily specific to commercial real estate, right? It could be like other business forms and stuff like that.
Yes, other business forms. We have worked with multifamily. We've worked with single family. We've worked with financing for storage facilities. We've also helped finance RV parks. That's
Mhm,
what I'm trying to get out. RV
mhm,
parks. So it's just, yeah, we're pretty much across the board when it comes to financing. We
mhm,
just need to know what it is that you're looking at and what is the outcome that you're looking towards. So
mhm, mhm, mhm.
numbers are what make the actual financing possible. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So the next question, normally I go for the buy box, and I'll explain that first to the audience, which is when commercial investors are talking to each other and saying, "Hey, what's your ideal property?" What they're asking for is really three things. It's first is the geography. Where is it? So which states, what counties, possibly what neighborhoods. Okay, so that's going to be super duper important. Next one's going to be the size, and in general on these chance encounters, we're talking to multifamily investors, so unit count is what they use for that. And as Kalmago mentioned, there are other types of commercial real estate that also go off of unit count, like self storage, like RV parks. Retail and office space are the same as well, but industrial and warehousing will be based on square footage. But you're going to need to know the geography, the size, and the third thing is the class. Okay, there's two different meanings of the word class. One of them is the condition of the building. In other words, is it old and beat up, or is it brand new and immaculate and really luxurious with the top, amenities and all that kind of fun stuff? And the other meaning of the word class is the area that the property is located in. So, what's the crime rate like? What are the school districts like in that area? And both of those versions of class, they're rated in the same system as in grade school, which is like C minus, B plus, and so on like that. So Calmago, you offer loans not only on commercial real estate but in other things as well. Is there any kind of similar buy box or something like an ideal thing, or maybe something that where it's easier to get accepted for the financing that you offer, or is anything come to mind?
Um, well, one thing we run into with problem with uh, borrowers are, you know, uh, they're looking for 100% funding
Hmm.
and not willing to come up front with anything. And in the market today, as of 2022, it takes a little skin in the game to actually get something going, and that's what we really look forward to. Anyone who's willing to put towards what they believe is a great investment, we're looking to back you on that and move forward. Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. And I know that when the shoe's on the other foot, that doesn't feel that great. It feels like, well, you saying I'm dishonest just because I don't have enough money or something like that. But that's not really how it is, right? Like if you've got the pile of money and it could, like why don't you just buy it yourself? Why would you trust somebody else to be running the asset with your money and no skin in the game? So I think that that's an important little thing there. But the
Yes.
next question I always ask, it has to do with the fact that because commercial real estate, it's so multifaceted, you got these different roles here, and like all of them are real duties. So like nobody is going to be all of the sides of the die for any real meaningful amount of time. So people are going to pick what they do. But on top of that, we're also all better suited for helping some people more than others. Me personally, I got my background in marketing and tech, so I'm looking for people who already have some systems in place or a foundation anyway. So I'm always looking for the sponsors and KPs because those are the people where like I can be disproportionately more help. Like anybody can, like do the work, but as far as like really expanding on the basis that you already have, that's who I can help the most. As far as like you're looking for people who are looking for financing, so that sounds like you're looking more for repositioners and KPs. Is that accurate, or is there somebody else? Is there an easier way to describe the ideal person to reach out to you?
That is accurate. Like I said, sometimes it takes, a little more as far as investing. we do get others who are looking for to invest in different projects, but those are the main two that we really look for.
Beautiful. And the way to reach out to you, I'm having troubles remembering. It's been long enough now where we ended up meet up, but I find all my meetups through LinkedIn. And I know you have some websites. I know you're active on LinkedIn. You have a really awesome new profile picture, as a matter of fact, on your LinkedIn profile. But is that the best way to reach out to you, or is there a better way?
Well, we have the LinkedIn profile, which is the best way to reach me. Also, I have an email at capitalbdllc at gmail.com. Our website is capitalbdllc.com. And also my phone, just directly call me up and see what you have, present the deals that you have that we can work with. And that'll be 407-920-7837.
All right, sweet. And you said capital, that was like B like Barry and D like Don. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
great.
capital, Bravo, David, Llama, Charlie.
All right, good stuff. And that only leaves one more thing, which is not for you, Kalmago. It's actually for you in the audience, which is, I got a problem. I need you to help me, okay? Too many screens have this enormous ugly red button when they're watching YouTube videos, especially on my channel, and I want all of those red buttons gone. You'll see one under my left hand. It says subscribe on it, and the only way to get rid of that awful ugly red button is to click on it, which is free, and it turns it into the gray button of tranquility. I love the gray button of tranquility because it has a magical power. The magical power is that YouTube will start to pay for these videos instead of me. Amazing, right? And all the jokes aside, all it really means is that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions, but you can go ahead and ignore them. I appreciate you spending the time that you have with me. Just like Kalmago, getting you to join me today and getting your stuff on here. This has been really great to see you again. Thanks a lot.
Same here. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Chance Encounters. Make sure you do 506 Me after this. And the way that works for you, if you want to be a 506 Me member, if you're at a live event, a conference, or in a Zoom call or something like that, all you have to do is have your very own QR code that comes when you sign up. And then if somebody has their own QR code scanner, just like this, then my one has it in its phone automatically, so I can scan even faces and stuff. But you just scan the code just like that, and then it'll add you to their watch list. So that way you can they can watch your video, make sure that you're compliant, know your level of sophistication, and all that kind of fun stuff that the SEC wants us to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye.